wanna try. I'm straight flexing, no stressing, I'm the king of the game. From coast to coast, you know they.
Alright. What's good, YouTube? It's your boy Thoroughbred Gaming, and we is back with another video today. Today we just got a review. We looking at the PS5 Pro, and we just I'm gonna give my thoughts, my impressions of the PS5 Pro, and I'm gonna tell y'all if I feel like the $700 price tag for this PS5 Pro is worth it or not. I'm gonna give y'all all the pros and cons that I think, and I know to the average gamer, they might not think that the Pro is worth it. But to
Hi,
me,
I'm Mark Cerny. I'm excited to be here to talk about the newest addition to our console lineup, PlayStation 5 Pro, and how it advances gaming technology. But first, I want to take just a minute to look at what we put in the original PlayStation 5 and how it delivers an exceptional gaming experience. When PS5 debuted in 2020, it brought a lot to the table. 8 Zen 2 CPU cores form the brains of PlayStation 5 and enable high-speed complex gameplay, with character counts reaching into the hundreds and frame rates that can be as high as 120 frames a second. PS5 has a powerful RDNA 2 GPU, which can render anything from intricate details to fantastic worlds with vast panoramas to explore. Ray tracing allows for dramatic visual improvements, including reflections off of water or glass, and the realism that comes from real-time global illumination. A custom SSD can load data at breathtaking speed, resulting in ultra-fast transitions between game worlds and data streaming rates so high that traversal speeds are essentially unlimited.
You okay? I'm working on it!
Tempest 3D audio tech brings an unparalleled sense of immersion to the sound of the games. With audio so real, you may not even need to see the enemies to know exactly where they are. Finally, the DualSense controller has haptics that let you feel through your hands what your character is experiencing inside of the game. It's wonderful to see such variety and richness of game experiences. Creators have made amazing use of the hardware capabilities, but when I talk to them, I do hear about their desire for more graphics performance. The dreams of the developers are bigger than can be supported at 60 frames per second, and that leads to an aspect of modern gaming that we're all familiar with: graphics modes. It can be a difficult choice for players. Fidelity modes emphasize the visuals, typically through higher resolution rendering. These modes might also have enhanced detail or use more ray tracing. But the games only run at 30 frames per second. The visuals can be choppier and the controls less responsive. Performance modes emphasize frame rate and interactivity, typically choosing to run at 60 frames per second, mainly by reducing the graphical detail until those frame rates.
Pause this right here. Now, I know this game is Ratchet and Clank. It's Ratchet and Clank. I understand that. But even though in this video, we'll probably need a better, closer look at like the differences to the average eye or average gamer, you could say, they might not be able to tell all of the details that were changed, that upscaled, or the little details that you might see far away, whatever you want to call it. I think they probably should have used a game that was kind of darker, and then a game that was lighter to really show y'all the differences in between the games. But even here, though, I think you see in fidelity, right? You see the grass is darker over here in performance mode. It's prioritizing high frame rate and more interactivity, but you lose the graphics and the quality of what you essentially want, the visuals. This is just the standard PS5.
Can be achieved. When asked to decide on a mode, players are choosing performance about 3/4 of the time.
Now look, that's another thing. He just said 75% of the time, players are choosing. This is based on data that they've took. Players are choosing performance mode because they want the 60 frames, right? Now, if you can get 60 frames and the performance, why wouldn't you get the pro? You know what I'm saying? There are pros and cons. I know the price is a big price jump.
Moving that decision, or at least narrowing that divide, is one of the key targets for PlayStation 5 Pro. We want to give players the graphics that the game creators aspire to, at the high frame rates that players typically prefer. To do that, PS5 Pro substantially improves over PlayStation 5 in 3 ways. Here's what we call the Big 3.
The big three.
First, we made the
big
GPU much larger and increased the speed of the memory it uses.
Now, it's almost 70% fast. Has a 70% increase in computer unit, 28% faster RAM, and up to
result is rendering that's up to
45% faster for rendering with a larger GPU.
5% faster. Second, we made major upgrades to the ray tracing, taking a streamlined and accelerated approach that allows calculation of the rays at double or even triple the speeds of PlayStation 5. And finally, we added custom hardware for machine learning and an AI library called PlayStation Spectral Super Resolution.
Now, this right here, PlayStation Spectral Super Resolution. This is the AI driven upscaling that they added to the PS5 Pro, which the current PS5 does not have. So, I want to touch on this a little bit. This right here is a new technology that I'm pretty sure was patented a while ago to be able to be used in the PS5 Pro. It was patented, and this here is supposed to be a boost for graphics as well.
Or PSSR for short. PSSR analyzes the game images pixel by pixel and can add an extraordinary amount of detail, which boosts the effective resolution of the games. Game creators are adding PS5 Pro support to new and existing titles, and with the Big 3 involved, the results can be pretty amazing, with graphics showing something like fidelity levels of detail, but at double the frame rate. Here's The Last of Us Part 2 running on PS5 Pro. It has huge amounts of detail and targets a super smooth 60 frames per second. Let's compare this to the fidelity mode on PS5, which is only running at 30 frames per second and is therefore much choppier.
Okay. Right here.
We gotta lose.
Go back.
Stop! 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 Don't stop! We gotta lose.
This goal of delivering almost fidelity-like graphics at performance frame rates has been achieved for a broad set of titles, including Marvel's Spider-Man.
No. Now look, when you pause it, this looks choppy. Y'all probably couldn't see it unless you stop it in between. See here on on PS5 Pro, you can see the tentacles a lot clearer than you can in this. So let's just play it back.
Broad set of titles,
Now,
including Marvel's Spider.
now look, same thing. You can still see the tentacles a lot clearer than you would in 30 frames versus 60. You can see this a lot clearer. Even this is choppy. You see, the truck is choppy, and this is paused at the same point in time. You can see bro over here, and you can see this is blurry over here.
Spider-Man 2.
That's what people didn't pick up on. Let's play it back a little bit more.
Titles, including Marvel's Spider-Man.
Right here. Pause at the same point in time. I'm gonna pause this 3 different times in the same spot. The tentacles, you can see way clear. This is 60 frames versus 30. So, this is blurry right here. The truck is not blurry or as blurry because it's double the frame rate. You see him over here. This is clearly blurry, and you can, even though the tentacles are covering this, you can still see these guys a lot more than you can see him or him. Their faces are both blurry right here. All 3 of them. And the truck is blurry as well. But this truck, you can see, is clear as day.
Man 2, and Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart. We can see that PS5 Pro is close to doubling the power.
Alright. No.
PS5 Pro is
no. You see how
close
you
to
move
double
here, right? This is smooth.
doubling the power
is
of
top
PlayStation 5. Another way to compare the two consoles is to look at PS5 Pro versus Performance mode on PS5, both of which target 60 frames per second. What we see here is a difference in detail. PS5 Pro is much sharper and crisper than PS5. For this, my favorite is the parade scene from Ratchet and Clank. Distant details are much clearer.
This is blurry up here. This is a lot more clear, which I know people are like, oh, we don't care about distant details, but it increases the whole aspect of the game when you're in 60 frames. If you can see all details clear, why would you not want that?
And here we can see Marvel's Spider-Man 2 is noticeably higher resolution throughout the
This is kind of blurry back here. This car in the same spot. You can see this car is clear as day. You can see this back here. This back here, the further you go back, the more blurrier it gets. All of this back here, the further you go back, the blurrier it gets.
the scene, including the trees and procedural cars. So overall, some remarkable improvement to the games. On PS5 Pro, we can see increased sharpness to the graphics or smoother and more responsive gameplay. This is the big three showing their value. As you've been seeing, machine learning via the PSSR library is being used quite broadly to add pixel detail and boost frame rate. But there are as many approaches as there are game engines. The increase in raw GPU power is being especially effective for Horizon Forbidden West. Apart from the detail boost, that extra graphics power is allowing for improvements to lighting and visual effects, as well as to the hair and the skin in cinematics.
Open up, guys. Dwarf's orders.
Good enough for me.
Ray tracing is finding broad usage as well, particularly when the games are focused on higher frame rates. The faster hardware in PS5 Pro can make a real difference, allowing Gran Turismo 7 to add ray-traced reflections between the cars in gameplay, while continuing to support their targeted 60 frames per second. That boost in ray tracing is also delivering big wins for Hogwarts Legacy, allowing not only for better reflections and a greater variety of reflective surfaces, but also for further realism in the casting of shadows. I hope you've enjoyed this run-through of the technology behind PlayStation 5 Pro. Simply put, it's the most powerful console we've ever built, and a worthy addition to the PS5 family. Let me wrap this up by giving you a quick look at a number of games running on the new console.
You'll never
Don't let me hang it.
I understand. Trust me, I understand. People are like $6.99. This is outrageous for a price to pay, and we still don't have no new exclusives for the PlayStation as already. And like, why are they showing old games and things like that? I understand that. People are like, oh, it doesn't come with a disc drive. I understand what the narrative is. PlayStation or markets are trying to push the whole digital thing. But at least they still offer it. Yes, it's $80, and that can attribute to after taxes and stuff. You might be paying closer to $800 if you don't trade in your old PS5. I understand that. Now the stand, the stand I really don't get. People are like, oh, it doesn't include a stand. But this benefits a lot of people who don't have their stand or bought a PS5 off somebody because, you know, they were so hard to get for 3-4 years. I don't even use I'm gonna be brutally honest. I don't even use my stand for my PS5. It sits in the box. After I traded in my white PS5 for the Spider-Man limited, Spider-Man 2 limited edition, I still don't use my stand. I never have. So I don't understand the whole issue about the stand. Now I can understand them not having a disc drive and that being $80, or if they offered the disc drive and lowered it to like maybe 60 or something, you know, 50, whatever the case may be. The graphics won't be a major change for a lot of individuals who are just casual gamers. They want to hop on the game, clear their mind, whatever. I feel like the Pro is going to be targeted at those people who are either content creators, hardcore gamers, or people who really want the best of both worlds. You want the performance and the graphics. And people are like, oh, we don't have no new quality games. A lot of the games they showed are old. I understand that. I do. Alan Wake 2 is already getting to have another deluxe released. And then we have Assassin's Creed Shadows that comes out in November. I'm pretty sure that'll be a PS5 Pro title. Not only, but it'll be PS5 Pro enhanced. And it doesn't release till November 12th. This released November 7th. I mean, if you get Assassin's Creed Shadows, that comes out November 9th. If you get it the Gold Edition or the Collector's Edition, you get to play it 3 days early. 3 days early, so November 9th. So probably... So trust me, I understand it, for sure. But I really just don't get the whole vertical stand. Like, I understand it came with the previous PS5s and stuff like that. Now, another thing this is getting, though, it is getting a 2TB SSD. You take the price of a 2TB SSD, and if you would have had to buy one for this, and this would have been 667 gigabytes, and you still would have had to buy, and it was 700, and you still would have had to buy an SSD, you would have been looking at 900. So I think they took part of the, you know, yes, it has better technology and stuff like that. I think that was part of the price hike, but also I believe that the SSD probably played a role. Being 2 terabytes from the factory, from the manufacturer, they're like, okay, we'll make it 700 since we're including a 2 terabyte SSD. This also includes the new Astrobot game that came out. I would wish that they included the Astrobot controller. Instead of just the generic white, I wish the Astrobot controller got through in for all PS5 Pro owners, given that controller is sold out almost everywhere. Like, I looked on Walmart the other day, and it was like they wanted to charge $130 for an $80 controller. Sold out on the PlayStation website, sold out at Best Buy. I don't know anywhere you can get that controller right now without paying $130 on Walmart. So I would have liked them to put the Astrobot controller in with the PS5 Pro, considering they're throwing Astrobot in there for all PS5 Pro people who buy it and it's free. That would have been a nice addition. Now, another thing about the whole $700 is, I'm not saying it's justifiable, but I think you also have to look at people who spent during COVID, spent $650, $700, $800 for the regular PS5 because they were sold out. You couldn't get one for retail because scalpers bought them all up and people were scavenging anywhere. I had friends who didn't have a PS5 for a year, 2, maybe 3 years because how hard it was to get one. Now, again, I don't think this will be that hard to get unless it sells just as well as the original PS5 did. But I do feel like this was needed because yes, we're late in the cycle for PS5 and we still don't have no crazy exclusive games. But we have Assassin's Creed Shadows coming out. You have Silent Hill 2. That'll probably eventually be a PS5 Pro enhanced title. You have Epic Mickey rebrushed. Hopefully that'll be PS5 Pro enhanced. It's not out yet. You have Quiet Place, A Road Ahead. That's not out yet. You have Dragon Ball Z Tenkaichi. That's not out yet. Black Ops 6 isn't out yet. So I feel like a lot of these games will have either have an update or be enhanced with PS5 Pro. And then GTA 6 next year. Hopefully, there's no more delays. And then you still have Wolverine, Rise of the Ronin. Hopefully, that's still being made. You have these other titles that have yet to be, made yet or are in the process of being made. I think the Pro is still needed because having to sacrifice performance or sacrifice quality over performance when you could just, have both in one console. I feel like being able to play games at 60 and 120 frames was definitely needed, given that a lot of games don't play all the way at 60 frames, depending on the game it is, on the regular PS5. So, everybody to each their own. I feel like 700, okay, yeah, it might have been a lot, but they could have went, maybe 650. I feel like if it was 650, a lot of people wouldn't feel as strongly about the Pro as they do. Even though it doesn't have a disc drive, I feel like 650 or 640, 645 might have been a sweet spot instead of just doing it at 700. But I'm pretty sure they looked at the data and was like, oh, this is what people pay for the regular PS5, and we're including a 2 terabyte SSD. I feel like we could justify at putting this at 700. But I mean, y'all let me know what y'all think in the comments. If you're gonna get the PS5 Pro or you're not gonna get it, I'm still gonna get one. I'm not going to sell my PlayStation 2 Spider-Man Limited Edition because you can't get these anywhere. Like if you look on Walmart, you look anywhere, they're $800. I haven't seen a price drop just yet. I'll check again, but you can't get these anywhere. It's not even available to trade in on a GameStop. So, unless I go in there and he trying to just put it underneath regular PS5, but it's not a regular PS5. So, that's about $880 right now. Still, like matter of fact, let me go on Walmart and see, so I can show y'all how much this joint still is, unless they change the price with the PS5 Pro coming. Spider, PS Spider, no. Let's see. See, look, this went up $305 for this bundle. Where's it at? Right here. Right there, 780. 781. 780. So right now, this is still going for about 800 from other people. The bundle right here, this is just the regular one. See, look right here, 782. After taxes, that's probably about 800. So I understand that, and then, so that's what I'm just trying to give you guys an idea. I'm not saying it's right, but and then the Astrobot controller is sold out on PlayStation. So Astrobot PS5 controller. See right here, the Astrobot PS5 controller. It's $134. This controller is $80 on the PlayStation website, and they're charging $118. So probably like $12 tax to get this controller. If they would have threw this controller in there, I feel like that would have, kind of appeased people too. But you literally gotta buy this separate. I feel like this should have been thrown in with the PS5 Pro. I feel like that. But as I was saying, y'all let me know in the comments what y'all think. I'm still gonna get a PS5 Pro. I feel like it will do it justice, and I feel like it will look like a lot of games will look the best on the Pro. Like, I still haven't decided if I'm gonna get Assassin's Creed Shadows. Yeah, I might just get the Gold Edition and not the Collector's Edition, so I can play it 3 days early for you guys and see how it looks on the PS5 Pro. I'll plug them both up because I do have a 4K TV as well and 4K whatever monitor. I will probably set it up on my setup, and then set my other PS5 up on the TV, and look at them both side by side, and then I can come back with another video for you guys and really tell y'all how much of a difference there really is. Because I see the difference, but to somebody that's not paying attention to all the details, or just like, don't be wrong, from the presentation, it is kind of hard to see like all the graphical differences, but I do think this will look the best. I think the Pro was definitely needed. Maybe could have started at $650, but I definitely think it was needed. As I said, guys, y'all let me know in the comments if y'all think if y'all gonna be buying it, or you're gonna hard pass, or you'll see reviews and then you might think about buying it, as long as it doesn't, sell out crazy. But without anything else going on, I appreciate y'all as always. If you're new to my YouTube channel, make sure you smash that subscribe button.
Sharp as a sword. I'm knowing I gotta keep going. No matter the problem I have, be it I know I gotta keep going. Going hard, so I'm hard to avoid.